What is going on, everyone? Another season of SEC Insider. College football season is here. We are excited about it. I am Lauren Sisler with AL.com. Matt Zenitz here, also with AL.com, but he is our SEC Insider today, and we're going to talk a little Alabama football. This guy's around the program all the time. We love him. We love his insight. So we're going to talk about that good old depth chart, that depth chart that has a lot of ORs on it, i.e. or. So also some true freshmen floating in there a little bit. Overall thoughts on the offensive line and their ability to produce early, especially with some young, inexperienced guys.
So it looks like with this offensive line, one of the interesting parts about it is that there could be two starters along the line that weren't even parts of the program last year, one being a freshman and another one being a transfer who came in over the summer. So starting with the transfer, Landon Dickerson came here from Florida State, former top recruit who was a starter at Florida State each of the last 3 years. Unfortunately for him, each of those 3 seasons ended with him dealing with a season-ending injury, but arrived at Alabama over the summer, made an impression really right away, and really started to make a move as far as the competition for playing time. A couple weeks ago when Chris Owens, who's the first-team center, was limited by an injury. And Landon Dickerson's a 6'6", 310-pound, big, tough, physical kid, plays with an edge, and it looks like he's in line to be a starter along the line, probably right now at right guard, even though he's seen some reps at center also. The other one that I'm talking about that wasn't a part of the program last year that also looks like he could potentially be a starter along the offensive line is one of those freshmen, Neal, who's a 5-star kid, huge, 6'7", 6'8", 345, 350 pounds, really started to impress back during the spring and has gotten consistent first-team work throughout the course of fall camp. And it seems like, from what I've heard, that really early on during the course of the preseason that Alabama coaches really started to identify him as one of their 5 best offensive linemen. And it looks like right now that there's probably a good chance that he starts at left guard.
All right, another true freshman we're looking at, Christian Harris filling in for Josh Mcmillan, going out with a season-ending knee injury. At inside linebacker, of course, he'll be filling in for him alongside Dylan Moses. Certainly an interesting dynamic because both those guys went to the same high school together. But overall, what have you seen from him, and what is your confidence level that he can fill in as a guy that has little to no experience at that position at the college level?
So what's really interesting about Christian Harris is that ideally for a freshman coming in, it helps obviously having experience at the position that you're going to be playing. And for Christian, not only did Christian not play inside linebacker in high school, which is what he's going to be playing at Alabama, wasn't a linebacker at all. Actually, of all things, Christian was a cornerback in high school to go along with being a slot wide receiver and a kick returner. So the big things with him, he's similar to Dylan Moses and to a certain degree in the sense that both went to the same high school, University Lab, like you were talking about, both from Baton Rouge, and both are absolute freak athletes. Christian, like Dylan, is an absolute freak athlete, did some great things in the weight room over the summer, and is somebody who's athletic enough that he was out there at 240 pounds playing corner, slot receiver, and returning kicks in high school, and that's something that's definitely stuck out about him since he arrived at Alabama over the summer, is just that overall athleticism and also the ability to cover, which we would hope would be the case considering he played corner.
Yeah. Hey, he's got it all. Very versatile athlete there. Now, finally, we wrap up with yet another true freshman in Will Reichard, the kicker. The kicking game, obviously something that people talk about a lot with this Alabama football program, the consistency, need a consistent kicker, and not to mention there's a good possibility that he will be competing for the starting punting job. That's big time. So just your thoughts on that position and how well he can handle that, the kicking duties as well as possibly the punting duties.
He could be busy. So as far as the kicking job, it seems like it's his right now. Really did a good job throughout the course of fall camp. So, he's somebody who came in with big expectations considering he was the number 1 kicker in this year's recruiting class and at least so far has lived up to the billing. So during fall camp was 4 for 4 on field goals in the first scrimmage, and then the second scrimmage had at least a few made field goals. Missed 1, but from what I've heard, it was a longer attempt of about 50 yards. And it sounds like also that he got a chance to re-kick it after missing it and then made it. So he's done well kicking field goals. And then also has been able to step in and do a solid job punting, enough that it would not be a surprise for me whatsoever if he handled both of those responsibilities at some point during the season and possibly even right away. And then also, he's done a solid job as the kickoff specialist. So when I talk about him being busy, in the end, he could end up being not only the kicker, not only the kicker and punter, but could possibly handle all three of those responsibilities with kicking off and being the kickoff specialist to go along with kicking and punting.
Alrighty, he's Matt Zenitz, our insider, our SEC insider this week. We appreciate the intel as always, and of course, for all your Alabama Crimson Tide updates, you can visit us on AL.com.